Welcome back to the channel. I want to show you how to do that Gatorade type look where you isolate an object and turn everything black and white. A little something like this. Here's our before shot and here's our after. We're just isolated the soccer ball and threw a Gatorade bottle on, and I have an extra tip for how you can use the MagicMask and not have to retrack it. So let's walk through this here. First things foremost, we'll go through on the soccer shot. Essentially, I started out with a single node and I added a parallel mixer. That's what this icon is here. So that means you can do things stacked on top of each other and then it combines it into one stream. So on the first one here, I made it black and white. And how I did that was went over to our RGB mixer here and chose monochrome down here. I did do a little bit of color correction on here as well, just to make it look a little better. There's the before and after, brought down the black level and things like that. So then I hit monochrome. So now this particular node is just making everything black and white. If we were to disable this bottom node, you can see it's just now a black and white image with a little bit of color correction. Second node is where we isolate the soccer ball. So what I did was choose the MagicMask, and if we go to our frame here, you can see I just chose some spots on the ball. I had my mask overlay on to see where it was actually going to select and kind of jogged through the section here just to see how it was tracking and everything. So that looked pretty good and I tracked it. I did change it to better and adjusted a few parameters down here, but it did a pretty nice job. So now that the top is black and white and the bottom one is ready to go, turn off the overlay, and now you can see the ball is affected. I went over to the primaries and I just adjusted the gain here. And that's pretty much all we did on that, just to give it this look. Now on the second clip here is just a Gatorade bottle. And that came in just as a Gatorade bottle, a JPEG with a white background, not an alpha channel. So I had to key that out ourselves. So if we go back over to color page, I have a transform secondary, and our first node is where the MagicMask is. So if we go over to our tracked area, if the transform's in line, it actually doesn't show you. So I'm going to hit E and move that out. We'll go back here. And now you can see the little spots on the bottle where I chose for it to select. And then at the bottom here, if we move up, I had a couple of spots right down here where there was some bleed happening. And then if we choose the overlay, you can see that looks pretty good. So this one I did put on better, and I did a little bit of smoothing and a couple other things, some clean black. Now with the transform, if I leave this like this and we go back to the edit page, if I was to use the transform here, it would basically break our MagicMask. So in order to keep this MagicMask intact, I just grabbed a transform node and I slid that and added it into the flow. And then we can drag our alpha in and then the alpha out to our timeline. And then that will cut it out as long as we have our overlay off. So there we go. Our overlay is now back off here, and it slid over with these transform controls just to shrink it down. And now I don't have to mess with it and have it retract the mask every time. And now we have this shot with the Gatorade bottle hanging out and the matching soccer ball. So there's a few tips there. You can use the parallel mixer to do the stack black and white. Second node is where you choose your object that you want to colorize. And then when you use the MagicMask on a secondary object, if you want to move it around, you can hit transform. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.